Hey guys, what's up? It's TankDestroyer here, and today we're going to be looking at Tank Destroyer, and he is in MAHOU, and he's going to have a absolutely monster game. Now, in this Road to Unicum series, we're going to be focusing on awareness and prioritization, as well as what to do at the end of the game if you run out of ammo. You know, it's kind of rare that will happen, but, you know, might as well be prepared for it. As you can see, he's going to come to this spot on, let me zoom this in a little bit. On Paris, he's going to come to K5. It's where a lot of tanks with good turrets are, and as you can see, the waffle just kind of yellows out and he's able to focus. You're going to see that he's actually going to, he would try to sneak this in, but the waffle makes a mistake of pushing and he gets clipped off. Now what you're going to notice is that while you are reloading in any autoloader, any tank with a lengthy reload, you should always pay attention to the minimap. Now as you can see, he's sitting here, you know, chilling, reloading, and just kind of looking at what's going on. He sees that he has a lot of teammates here, and that he sees that the Emil's over there, and that he can more than likely, you know, get aggressive in a couple seconds. He sees that the tanks that he has to worry about don't have line of sight, so he's going to push up. Now he knows that the T-54 is lit, so you can see that he starts to aim his gun to the left. He's going to be able to clip him out. So this is important when you're pushing or making any kind of strategic movement. You always want to go outside in, meaning that you want to minimize the amount you've exposed yourself. So, for instance, right now, you know, if you were, you know, peeking this corner right here, and you had someone to shoot here and someone to shoot here, if you're peeking this corner, you're not going to want to go to shoot this guy. You know, you're exposing yourself to two guns instead of just one. So when you are peeking any kind of corner, you want to be aware that you should always go to focus outside in. Unless, in the rare instance that this guy over here just fired and this guy's a one-tap, then go for the one-tap. But that's a very rare circumstance that happens to happen when you're peeking. So, you know, just if you can, always try to work outside in, unless it's a rare instance where you know, don't need to do that. So this game here, this Tank Destroyer guy, you know, just a casual pleb. I'm just kidding. He's actually a really good player. He's gonna do 12.1 thousand damage and only draw the game. Now, if I was him, I'd be pretty depressed about that kind of results. And when you just break your back on the team and, you know, they can't do anything. So now the Emil YOLO's out like an idiot, and instead of going for, you know, he was going to go for the I-7, he notices the Emil and holds his fire. He's able to get the Emil down to 34 hit points. So now he's going to back in this corner right here. He's going to keep the IS-3 proxied, and he's just going to sit here and chill. Now, what you're going to notice that he's going to do is he's going to start looking around to see where people are. There it is. He saw the IS-3, the ST-1. He's starting to look to see where people are. This is very important. When you're sitting here and you're reloading, or you're just, you know, you're trying to observe the map, you always want to be aware of where people are before you make any kind of push. You can see he goes for the drive wheel again, the IS-7, and the last one bounces. The IS-7 gets a lucky snapshot. So as you can see, you know, he's probably done about half of the damage done, roughly, to the enemy team so far. You know, 5,200 damage, and there's only 5 guys dead. He has 2 of them. He's pretty much taken out the entirety of 2 tanks and some of a third, pretty much by himself so far this game. He's, you know, already pretty much backpacking his team this early, and they're still losing by quite a bit of margin. So his team is really bad. So as you can see, you know, this IS-3 gets one into him, and because, you know, if you're in this kind of situation, right, the ST-1, he wasn't looking, and this IS-3 just shot. IS-3 is a 2-tap. Instead of going for the ST-1, it was, in this particular instance, it was a much better idea to finish the tank that needed to die. Because this ST-1 right here clearly doesn't give 2 shits about this T-57 Heavy, and he's still just tunnel visioning what's over there. So it was in Tank Destroyer's best interest to figure out, well, he already knew, but take out the least amount of hit points. So being aware of who has how many hit points is very crucial to winning games, because, you know, in competitive, if you have 1 tank left on full hit points and you have 7 guys who are a one-shot, guess what? Depending on how you focus, you could potentially still win. I mean, depending on what tanks you're fighting, of course, that's of course a huge factor. But the point is that taking out guns is important, because a one-shot tank can still do full damage. That's, you know, something to always consider. So, and now he's just gonna farm the rest of this ST-1 because, you know, he's an idiot and doesn't pay attention to what's going on. He is aware. He should watch this video because his awareness is bad, right, guys? Yeah. Shameless plug. So now he's just going to chill and reload. He's just kind of seeing what the IS-7's going to do, and he's also just waiting for the ST-1 to shoot. He sees him shoot, so now he's going to get ready to peek. And he finally reload. He's going to be able to finish this guy off. Boom, and that's it. So now he's going to try to finish the IS-7. So notice how he has loaded right now. He can pen that angle. He knows that he can pen this, so he's going to go for it. He's able to pen both shots, and he's going to be able to get the kill shot as well. I will say that RNG was nice there. I'm actually surprised that all of them hit that spot he wanted to hit. But still, I mean, 8,100 damage, and he's already, you know, his team's losing with this kind of damage. It's actually kind of depressing to know that people are this bad. But anyways, there's a Chrysler K who's just sat in the base, pretty much doing, well, not in the base, but near the base, pretty much doing nothing. And he's going to bounce the BCR and just put his gun up, accepting defeat, and get clipped out. So that's that. So as you can see, Tank Destroyer only has 8 shells left. 8 shells left and 9,649 damage. This is a game that right about now, I'd be shitting my pants. I'd be saying, oh, okay, there's 5 tanks left. They have a 140, an STRV, an RU, an FE, and a Charioteer. And we have me, 2 9s, and 2 8s. Already, just by looking at, you know, the hit points, they have more hit points. Although he might not know that. This is something that I have. And then, you know, they have more 10s. So, especially that STRV. That STRV is a monster for a gun. So, realistically, he's still playing down. He's got 8 shells. He has to make all 8 shells count. He's got to hit everyone, connect everyone in order to really make a difference this game. And, you know, so that's what happens. So now this is pretty much, you know, he's just driving around. The FE gets spotted. And now he's just trying to drive in, trying to flank something or get something done. So now he's going to push down the field. I'm going to speed up those just a little bit. And there's the Charioteer that's going to YOLO down the field. So the Charioteer misses. I don't know how he missed. That was pretty bad. And Tank Killer is going to be able to finish him off. So Tank Killer is now going to reload. That's 5 rounds left. He's got 10,699 damage. This is an absolute monster game. If I had this game, man, this is ridiculous. You know, I saw this game on Watt Replays, and I figured, you know, I had to ask to make a video out of it. So he's going to come after the STRV 103B. The FE4 202 is going to sneak a shot in the ass. But here's where being aware is into play. He knows that this STRV is going to push this way, and he knows that the 140 is here. So prioritization says that you should get the tank. First of all, the 140 has less hit points. Second of all, the 140 is over here, not pushing anyone. And the 140 has, you know, doesn't have as good as DPM as the 103B, but the 140, in my opinion, is a little bit better platform for carrying. He's a bigger threat, so you're going to see that he's going to go for the 140 over the STRV, because the STRV is just yellowing down. The 140 does bounce, and Tank Killer is able to finish him off. So now what you're going to notice is he's just going to kind of get damage where he can, and just try to make the most difference he can for the end of the game. So he's got 2 rounds left. You're going to see he pulls up, and he doesn't know, he kind of struggles here. The STRV looks at him. He misses the 4202, and he waits, and he's able to get the shot into the STRV, and it does set him on fire for a bit, gets him some shots, and the FE4202 bounces. Now he has his last shell, and he's reloading. So you can see there's 2 tanks left. It's 2v3. He's got 1 shell left. You know, how is someone going to come back from this? What can you do? So what you're going to notice, if this RU is just YOLOing him, the RU probably doesn't know how many shells he has left, but he's just going to YOLO him anyways. Why you would an RU, I don't know. He flips himself, well, starts to flip himself, and gets butt tapped by Tank Destroyer, and he is killed. So now it is a 2v2. And as you saw, he didn't shoot him. And, you know, going through his mind, he was thinking, okay, you know, we've got this guy YOLOing down, and I can just, you know, he's got 43 hit points, he has no armor, he's a squishy tank. I can just tap him, and he's going to die. So rather than wasting his last shot on a 43 hit point tank, he's just going to ram him and make sure he can get the kill, so he can save his shot for something more juicy. So that was why he had tried to ram him rather than shooting him, and it did pay off. So, you know, that was very nice. The FE4202 is spotted behind him, and the T-34 is just in the middle, playing like a puppy. Nothing he can do about it. So Tank Destroyer is just going to go after this STRV. He's able to... STRV tracks him. He's able to get the kill shot on the cupola. And now it is a 1v1. So, what Tank Destroyer is going to do, my bad, he killed so many damn tanks this game, you know what I mean? Anyways, what Tank Destroyer is going to do is, he's going to try to draw the game out. Now, as you can see, he's got 6 minutes and 20 seconds left, and he is a 4-shot for the FE4202. So what do you do in this kind of situation? Well, what you're going to see is that he's just going to try, the FE4202, first of all, does not know that he's out of ammo. So he's just going to play like he normally would for this part, make sure he doesn't cap. So I'm just going to fast forward this because it's, I don't really think I need to show you going in normal motion going to the cap. It's kind of pointless. But as you can see, he knows that the FE4202 is in the cap. FE4202 bounces, and now he's going to go to this corner, make the FE4202 run. Basically what he's doing is he's juking him out, making him think that he has a clip loaded. This is going to scare him and keep him away from pushing, which is extremely crucial in this point. He needs to make sure he doesn't cap, and he also needs to make sure that the FE4202 doesn't YOLO him. The FE4202 does sneak a shot in, and now he is a potential 2-shot, more than likely a 3-shot for the FE. So he has to be very careful now because it's not like he can soak up a lot of rounds at this point. So now he's just trying to think of, okay, where's the 4202 going to peek from? He thinks he might peek again, but that FE4202 isn't a bad player. He's racked up 5 kills. He's doing pretty decent this game by the looks of kills. He is the last one alive, and he has been doing pretty good at sneaking shots in. So clearly he's not a bad player. So he doesn't know exactly if he's going to peek again and think that the T-57 Heavy will move. So he's just kind of, chilling right now. Now, he realizes that, okay, he can't be there anymore. So he turns and he starts going this way. And sure enough, there's the FE. He tries to wiggle and bounce it. The FE goes into his tracks. That is a very important tactic. When you are in this situation and someone's in front of you, and you're, this tank doesn't have a lot of armor. It's got its lower plate. It's pretty weak. Its turret, the bottom of the turret is pretty weak. The FE4202 shooting APCR. He's gonna pen that if he hits it. So what you do is you go like this with your tank hole. You wiggle your tank hole, and what that does, it will actually make a lot of people shoot the track instead of shooting your hole, which is very important to do. Most people actually fall for this. Like most pubbies will just kind of fall into that, and they'll shoot the track instead. So that's just something to consider while you're pushing. It is very important. So now he's just backing up. The FE still doesn't know he's out of ammo. How he doesn't know, I have actually no idea. You can see in chat they're calling him a fighter. I mean, he is putting up a fight. I'll give him that for the FE. He's doing his job. He's trying to keep the game a win. But now he knows that the FE more than likely will not be able to cap. So now he's just going to try to go for the draw. So as you can see, he's going to come over to this corner of the map, and he's going to use this ridge thing, square, to hide in it. Basically what he's going to do is the FE is not going to be able to shoot his turret unless he YOLOs him, and the FV doesn't know he's out of ammo, so he's not going to YOLO him. So he's using the surroundings to his advantage. Because it's basically, a plateau, for lack of better words, in the center, any shot the FE has to make, he either has to expose himself to the out of ammo 57 Heavy, or just YOLO him from the front. And in the FE's mind, that's a terrible idea. You shouldn't do that. That gets you killed. Typically YOLOing an autoloader and a tier 8. When you have less than the amount of hit points in his clip, he will die. So he's just sitting here next to the dead tank, being aware that the FE can only come from really 2 main directions, to the 1 line, the 2 line, or in the field. Now the odds of him coming from the field are quite small. He'd have to go through the middle, go down, which is actually what he does do, ironically enough. And he's just going to try to make it look like he's trying to sneak shots in, and that's what it's going to do. The FE does light him, and now he knows that the T-57 Heavy is indeed waiting for him. There is 56 seconds on the clock, and, Tank Destroyer does realize, okay, he doesn't know I have no shells, he's not going to YOLO me, so he's just going to sit here. If I was the FE, I would question why that 57 Heavy has had multiple chances to just clip him and not clipped him. I'd be curious as to why that hasn't happened yet, but clearly the thought never crossed his mind, and this is going to be a draw. So, with that being said, let's look at the game. So, as you can see, this is a Mastery Badges tank on a draw. It's pretty impressive. Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect. The Radley Walters medal, it's 8 or 9 enemies killed. He's got a Steel Ball medal, 257, it's quite impressive. High Caliber, and a Top Gun. You better hope you got a High Caliber, right? So, with that being said, that is 12,135 damage, 9 kills, 1,024 base experience. That is quite the game. As you can see, Centurion Action X with the donut, VK02 Os B with the donut, Jagdpanzer with the donut. You know, his team really didn't do a single thing. Pretty much, he had his backpack, the straps broke, and that's that. I mean, if you do 12,000 damage and a T-57, and your team still manages to lose, you've done all you can. Your team is just that helpless where they cannot do a single thing. So, because he fired all his rounds, of course, you always lose money. He is running, you know, premium consumables, so of course, when you're using them, that's going to cost 20k a pop. So, that shit adds up. So, as you can see, did pretty damn good, right? That's a pretty damn carry. And basically, the point is that awareness is key. You saw that he was able to prioritize targets that need to be prioritized, like the 140, or the Emil over the IS-7, the IS-3 over the ST-1. Those critical moments allowed him to save, conserve his hit points, and then focus different targets at different times. And this really allows for you to maximize your efficiency. You shouldn't be making bad trades. You should never be trading 1 for 1 in a tank. And, I mean, even in an order of T-57, you take 1, you deal 1,600. I mean, theoretically speaking, that's a lot of damage if you just go 1 for 4, 1 for 4, 1 for 4. But that's not really how it works. Because, and a lot of that, if you peaked at certain tanks, it'd be like 4 for 4, 4 for 5. That shit adds up really quick, and you don't really want to do that, especially against high alpha tanks. So, he was able to prioritize targets and just use his surroundings to his advantage, and that's exactly what he did. So let's just recap what he did, guys. Alright, so as you can see, TankDestroyer was in his T-57 Heavy, and he came down here, he got lit right about here, and just kept pushing down to this rock. What he was able to do then is clip the waffle that was sitting right here, and then he was just kind of looking. He pushed up underneath the bridge right about here, and clipped at that T-54 Mod 1 that was just kind of sitting here chilling, and then he pushed up to this spot right here. You know, this spot right here is pretty good because it allows him to not get shot from anyone unless they want a YOLO on top of him, which I really don't see who's going to jump over the bridge or expose themselves when you have a Jaegeru and shit camping in this corner. So then he kind of pushes up, that Emil YOLOs out like a potato, he clips him, and he comes back and reloads. And then he comes up over on this side, and he hits the IS-3, clips out the ST-1, and then goes for the IS-7's kill. And then, of course, he comes over this way. Actually, he goes over here, he clips the Christ okay, and he comes this way. Now, when he starts to push around, the FE-4202 does get lit right here. He doesn't really care. He's like, oh, you've got 3 tanks against an FE-4202. How the hell is that FE-4202 going to get out alive? Well, didn't happen that way. So he comes out in the field, he's able to kill a charioteer who also YOLOs out, and charioteer against T-57 Heavy in an open is not a really good combo. So then he comes up the middle, and this is where this awareness and decision making is very crucial. He has an STRV go this way, and a 140 camping here. So instead of going for the STRV, who he knows he has his ass and clipping him, he goes for the 140, who has more mobility, that's got a good DPM, you know, and it could be more of a pesk, in my opinion. So he's going to go for the 140, he's going to clip him out, and then the RU is going to ram him, and he's going to go over this way, get the STRV, and, you know, then he comes over this way. He knows that the what's it called? He knows the FE-4202 is not going to be able to really outspawn him or anything. So he's going to come over to this. He knows he's on cap. And he scares him off the cap. You know, they exchange fire, whatever. And he comes over here. The rest is history. So what he was able to do is just use his surroundings in this particular spot, and this position, and especially in this position right here, in order to keep the FE-4202 and other tanks from shooting him. So with that, guys, I hope that shows you how important awareness can be, and I hope to see you next time.